Happy Victory Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Texans Talking Football. You guys know me, it's your boy SAJ, coming to you live from the Stop and Go studios on the corner of McCullough and Ashby, because that's the one my mom used to manage. And I used to be able to figure out how to get soda from the machine and make it like 75% syrup and 25% carbonated water. It was the absolute worst. It was so good.
That sounds disgusting and fantastic all at the same time.
Oh, it was
Oh,
the best, Brian. It was
oh
the
my god!
best.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm BD. Today, I'm coming at you from the Taco Land Studios. Uh, Great place, another old great place on St. Mary's Street.
Yes. Um, again, unfortunately, was not my thing. Feel like I missed out on a lot of really, really, really good shows because we weren't going down there. Um, there was some great music and some
Oh
some
yeah,
great experiences on St. Mary's, man.
I spent most of my being 16 and up when I could drive on St. Mary's Street, either at the White Rabbit or what was then Wacky's. Uh, with a bunch of shows at Taco Land. It was so great.
Yeah.
So
So, victory weekend, right? We had a phenomenal, phenomenal weekend experience playing the Birmingham Stallions at home. You guys already know what happened. San Antonio won, and it wasn't even like we pulled off an upset victory. We completely dominated that game. Okay.
did you say hi to your
Uh,
daughter?
where's my daughter?
I just put her up on the screen.
Oh, what's up? What's going on?
uh,
No, I'm actually, so for everybody that's watching, I'm kind of battling something right now. I don't know if it's allergies or a cold, but that's partly why the voice is still a little bit messed up. But the show must go on, right?
you know what it is?
What it
It's
is.
because we're in St. Louis right now, and all that dust and all that crap that's in the Battle Chicken Dome is just blowing right over and just getting all in you. So that's obviously what it is.
I don't disagree. I mean that very easily could be. I'm allergic to St. Louis. I mean that could be a very serious thing here. But I'm gonna power through. Right, I got me some meds. I'm good. Right, nothing gonna stop me. But Jersey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Um, again, it was a phenomenal, phenomenal weekend. Um, but I think we need to talk about uh, just the overall experience in general, right? And what I mean by that is, from the tailgating to the final whistle. Um, First of all, our tailgating this weekend was absolutely phenomenal. You saw several people go live from our area. Our friend Havo with the Vamos Bramas podcast, he went live, showed all of us hanging out. Uh, Brahma Babe, absolute rock star of a person. She was running back and forth and manning the donation and the silent auction for the Daisy Cares uh, project that she had going on, to the point where she actually made herself sick because of the heat,
Yeah,
right? So, little PSA for you guys: when you're out and about, make sure you're paying attention to your body. Okay, if something feels off, it's probably because something is off, right? So stop, drink plenty of water, keep yourself cool and hydrated, and take those extra steps to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because heat exhaustion can sneak up on you so quickly and you don't even realize it, which could even later turn into heat stroke, right? So you've got to be super careful with it,
yeah,
especially in Texas.
absolutely. It was some crazy conditions. It was over 100 degrees on blacktop. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So
What's up, Jeremy?
luckily, the Alamo Dome, their EMS staff jumped in, SAPD, fire department came, and the Predator couple who was hanging out with us too. You know, uh, they all jumped in and got her back going, got her on her feet. So just shout out to everybody.
Yeah.
So it was just a fantastic response to see everybody rush in and try and help her. So hats off to them.
Yes, sir. But again, We had some guests come and visit us from Warrior Wishes,
Yep.
and absolutely amazing time right here. Jacqueline, you're right. Investing in misters. Everybody really should be thinking about that. The emergency freeze packs, all that good kind of stuff to prevent any kind of situation. But again, right, we had some friends come visit us from Warrior Wishes, which is a nonprofit organization that was started several years ago. Oddly enough, with a connection through Dick Butkus. You got to go check out. I believe it was Dick Butkus.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, go check out their story. But anyways, they sent some folks over. What they do is they go around and they make connections with folks like us, and they'll get tickets, but then they send people around to go tailgate with other people. Right, that way they get the full football experience. And they partnered up with us, and they've sent members pretty much since was it week three?
Week two, I think week two they showed up, and that's where we first started talking to them, and they've kind of been hanging out with us ever since. They're great guys. It's a great foundation. Yeah, like Jay
Yeah,
said, go look them up, man. It's a really cool story. Um, you know, just a great cause. So
yeah. And I mean, it's a nonprofit organization.
yeah,
Uh, they don't, we don't give anything to them. Like we just give out food. They don't give anything to us. They usually just send their people with, some beer and water and refreshments, stuff like that. But then they just partner up with us and we just hang out and we have a great time. So this weekend was no different. We had an incredible time with those folks. They're already talking about coming back when San Antonio wins this weekend.
yep.
And we have our championship game, right? So again, it was an incredible, incredible experience. Um, Going into the dome, this was actually not that I'm not ever great. Lose only has one L, or I mean 1-0. How are we going to lose the game? Sorry, a little bit of a grammar person there. See, that's why St. Louis isn't going to win. So, anyways, I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm just playing. But
I mean,
uh,
hey, we might lose the game, but we're not going to lose the game.
truth, truth. But I also don't want to keep a joke going. So, um, Uh, sure, we'll go with that. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing all my St. Louis friends and family in just a couple of days. I know I'm going to be hanging out with a couple of them here in the next day or two, just kind of reconnecting and having a good old time. But we're not here to talk about that just yet. Let's talk
Not
about the
yet.
San
We'll get to it.
Antonio.
We'll get to it.
Going into the Alamo Dome, I'm always excited because it is an air conditioned dome, but especially this Saturday, it was really, really nice.
Dude.
It actually felt really cold.
It was great. I mean, we were obviously, we sit together, we walk in together. I was struggling on that walk. I had to stop a couple times, find a shaded area, and just catch my breath. You know, I'm not the most in shape person there is, so uh,
Hey, man,
being,
round is the shape, baby.
100-degree heat, being fat, and walking downstairs is not a good combination for me.
No,
So
not at all.
but I made it to the dome, got a water, uh, sat down for about 5-10 minutes in the nice 70-degree dome that we have, and then I was good to go for game time. So
Yep, yep. Um, Look, Jacqueline
yeah,
said it too. Round is a shape.
absolutely,
Round is
absolutely.
a shape. Love it. And Amanda, yeah, I know. We're excited to see all of you guys. But where was I going to go with this? Um,
You're talking about pregame, talking walking into the dome, all that stuff.
yeah. Again, it was just a fun experience. Um, there were a couple of things. You guys know how we always make friends with people. I think this is the first time that we made friends with a member of the coaching staff. Uh,
Not the first, maybe the first this season.
yeah, I don't remember a coach saying anything this season to us.
Not this
I
season.
remember
I mean,
last year.
yeah,
Last year, 100%.
yeah,
The coach came over, right?
yeah. You had
And
your Arlington buddy come over say hi to you.
yeah. Yeah, and I guess he thought I was gonna back off, and I didn't, and so when he started, when he came over and was like, "I just wanted to see if you were still gonna keep talking." I'm right here, man. What are you gonna do? You're going to jump the rails and come after me? That's going to be a mistake, you know? Because then it becomes the JFL league. So, you know, um, but no, this time, uh, it it bothered me a little bit just because I had my daughters with me. They're checking out their first game, and this coach says, shut the front door to us. Not
Yeah.
in those words, obviously. And so, I mean, I get it, right? That's that fine line that you walk and everything. But I mean,
But
especially considering, well, hang on. Especially considering the fact that we've been told and we've been abiding by the rules, right? We don't cuss at other players. We don't cuss at coaching staff. We don't do any of that stuff, man.
yeah.
Show the same respect. You can you can talk trash, right? You can be like, hey, keep bumping them gums, but I'll make sure you're quiet when we win, right? Something like that is perfectly fine. Um, but to use that when I've got my kids there, man, that wasn't really cool.
And like to it wasn't even like built up to that. It wasn't like we were talking trash to him the whole game and it kind of finally got to him. It was that just right off the rip. First thing they walked in, you yelled something to him, oh, it's gonna be a long day or whatever, and he's like, shut the F up. Like
Yeah.
we're just starting straight at that.
Yep.
So
Yep. So we definitely made his life a little bit miserable. And then he spent the first entire half trying to I think, I don't know what was going on, but it sure seemed like he was talking up that blonde lady he was talking to the entire time
yeah,
and had
yeah.
no concern about what was going on the field. So I'm
Yeah,
just
hopefully
saying,
he's not a scout because he wasn't paying attention to the game at all. He
no,
was
I
trying
think he
to he
was
was trying to
smoking
focus
pot.
on his game instead.
Exactly. So then there's one other thing. Um, for everybody that was at the game, we talked about it last night, right? Um, but the announcer, we had a different announcer this game. And so I'm going to ask you guys that are viewing now, right? What did you think about the announcer that we had on Saturday? Did he do a better job than the announcer that we've had all season long, or do you think that he didn't do as good of a job? Because I'm really interested to see what your take is on that. Okay. Um,
Obviously, we are a little biased because he is a friend of our friend of the show. He's been on a few times. Obviously, we're talking about Milton Hope, UTSA announcer guy. Um,
announcer guy.
Announcer guy, yeah, yeah, it's official title, announcer guy.
Yeah.
Uh, we thought he did a fantastic job. Everybody we've talked to thought he did a fantastic job. I've seen posts, you know, not even like friends of us, but just in the groups that were at the game. Hey, the announcer was awesome. Like, so it's great seeing it from not just people that we know, you know.
Right.
So like that's that kind of that. Obviously, he did a fantastic job, but it's just cool seeing that from other people, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, Again, as BD said, we're a little bit biased because we know this person, but I think he brings the energy that we need to be able to sustain that home field advantage. The other announcer, he doesn't do a bad job, but he's much more dry and less engaging, and I don't think he gets the crowd worked up. So that's where folks like BD and I, or Jorge and Jackie, or a lot of you other folks in your sections,
Yeah,
the ones that are kind of leading those chants, this is where the team kind of has to rely on you, and that's fine, right? But it'd be so much better if the announcer was doing it and getting us all doing it in unison.
yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
so if you get a chance, make sure you give a shout out to Milton Hope on your socials. Tell him he did a good job if you think he did a good job. Let's let the league know that Milton did a good job. Maybe next season we can have him announcing. And that would be incredible,
That'd
right?
be fantastic. Yeah,
This place would be absolutely insane, right? Um, so push that, make that happen. But again, it was an incredible, incredible game. What's up, Vanessa? Um, and what's up, Jackie? Um, this game turned out to be much better than what I thought it was going to be. We had the double-headed attack of Garbers and Dormady, and both of them did a pretty good job. I mean, uh, I don't know that. I mean, Dormady started out pretty good. Um,
He did. He led the first two drives, and I mean the first drive ended with the sack fumble.
mhm,
Not really his fault, you know. I mean, he got sacked, so. Uh,
yeah.
but and then the second drive, ended with the touchdown, which I didn't realize this until the replay. Garbers came in on the point after conversion, so I thought he came in on the drive, but he actually came in after we scored the touchdown. We went to go the extra point. Uh, Garbers came in on that play, and That's when he stayed in the game. I didn't realize that until actually watched the game back. So
See, and I didn't
I thought
even.
that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that myself. I haven't had a chance to rewatch the game. I'll probably do that tonight, just so I can be prepared for Saturday. But I mean, it was incredible. The one thing that I did not like that the Brahmas struggled with. I mean, they did go to overall, right? Good clock management. They were aggressive when they needed to be. First of all, I don't like the fact that we didn't score anything in the third quarter, right?
Yeah,
We had a lot of three and outs. That was not good. But the other thing is, we did not convert any of our conversions at all, and we've got to do better than that if we're gonna, if we're gonna run over St. Louis. We've got to make sure that we're getting those conversions because that's points needed,
I
right?
mean between our three touchdown conversions and the missed field goal, that was 6 points that we left minimum on the board.
Yep.
So those are points we're going to need moving forward. So
Yep. Yeah, that game definitely should have been 24-9. But overall, not a bad performance by the Brahmas. Defensively, we absolutely crushed. Uh, Oh, yeah. Put that comment up. So you guys have seen it. It's floating around the internet.
yeah,
Uh, Adrian Martinez is not real happy with us because we were apparently too loud as a fan base and he couldn't hear. Again, that's you guys. That's that home field advantage Brian and I were
absolutely.
just talking about, right? So we need to bring that energy every single game. Um, and that's the way it should be, right? No quarterback should ever be able to come into our stadium and be able to call out audibles to his receivers and be able to make those completions. It's just it is unheard of. So make sure when you're in the dome, especially next Saturday or Sunday, depending on when the playoff game is, that you guys
Our
bring.
game would be Sunday.
Okay.
The USFL game is Saturday. So
Okay. So um my tickets are already on the pre-wait list. Um, I fully expect to be cashing in and getting our seats for the game, and it is going to be absolutely miserable. We are going to make it a nightmare for St. Louis 2 weeks in a row. Um, but there was some other craziness that happened this weekend, Brian, and I still haven't seen my video yet. I guess my video editor wasn't feeling so good this week,
yeah,
so it has
you know,
not come out yet.
obviously Jorge was feeling bad. That's why he missed Horn Ford last night, and Jackie too. I kind of mentioned it earlier. I think a lot of it has to do with the heat on Saturday. I think it took a lot out of everybody. So I think everybody's trying to play a little catch up with their bodies. So
Yeah.
it's just kind
Yeah.
of taking a toll.
So Saturday's game again, was this Saturday? Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
laying down and being a little bit lazy.
yeah, it was
Um,
Saturday.
yeah, Saturday's game, St. Louis against Arlington in Arlington. Um, I know uh, we're biased in that one also, right? We love our Arlington friends. But it was really great to see them A get a win and B get a win against St. Louis. Now I know
That just
AJ,
wasn't a win, dude. That was like they
that
whooped
was a
them. I
domination.
mean,
That was a domination from start to finish. At no point in time, other than maybe in the second half or second quarter rather, um, there was a potential push for St. Louis to take the lead. But then after that, forget about it. It was
I
it was
think I think
Arlington.
St. Louis took the lead because obviously we were watching at the tailgate. They took the lead at 1 point in the second quarter, um, and but that was it.
Okay. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case because if you look at the scoreboard, Arlington threw up 8 in the first quarter and then 11 in the second quarter. Okay, St. Louis put up nothing in the first quarter and only 15 in the second quarter. So they were never ahead. Okay, they made a run. What's 11 plus
I
8,
think they
Ryan?
did. I think that one point I remember saying, "Oh shoot, St. Louis just took the lead," and then Arlington came
Oh,
back and
you know
scored.
what? You know what? You're right. You're right because it was in the third quarter when they got that touchdown. They did take the lead, but then they lost the lead
Yeah,
right when Arlington came back and
maybe
scored
that's what it
late.
was. Maybe that's what. Yeah, yeah. It was the first
Yeah,
drive of the third quarter because it was
right.
whatever 19-15 at halftime. St. Louis drove down for a touchdown, and then Arlington scored after that, and that was it.
Yeah, and then they pretty much, they put more points on the board, managed the clock well, and put St. Louis to bed. So again, I know AJ
I'm gonna
wasn't
have
in
to go
attendance.
back and maybe rewatch this game. I'm look at the score by quarter. How do you score 1 point in a quarter?
Oh, that was that safety that they got on a kickoff.
Is a safety 1 point?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So again, it was a weird situation. Um, and we talked about it last night on Horns Forward. There's still issues with the officiating, bad calls being made across the league. It was not it was not a great. None of these games were called like NFL quality. So I'm hopeful that next year we get a little bit better referees, a little bit better training for them and
Yeah.
everything. And they stop being so afraid to call calls. I know Rankin said it yesterday on Horns Forward that it seems like the referees are very timid. They're worried about making the hard calls. You can't do that. You've got a job. You're being paid to make the hard calls. Make the hard calls. Plain and simple.
You know, it does. It bugs me that they're missing obvious holes. They're missing false starts. Stuff like this. You know, sometimes those are going to get missed. That's just the nature of the game. You know, ref may be looking at player A and then player B is the one that holds, but we see that. What what I think has been really unforgivable for this league is the replays that
Oh
have
yeah.
shown, you know, uh, the touchback we had last week. The
Mhm.
replay showed the ball bounced on the line. It touched the line,
Yep.
and they called it. They said that it was down at the 3. You know, it should have been a touchback. You know,
Yep.
we go back to the Houston game with the out of bounds pass. You know, they reviewed it and they said, "Oh, there wasn't a view. This showed that he, kept his foot in bounds." Well, that was incorrect because we all saw a view. This
The
showed him.
lie detector. Yeah, the lie detector proved that was a lie.
Yeah. So, and we're seeing it. It's not just Brahma's games. I've seen it for I don't know if it was last week or the week before. There was a DC game. You know, it's yeah. I don't understand what's happening with Dean and Mike Pereira that they're not seeing this stuff. I don't know if they need more camera angles. I don't. I'm not sure, or if they're just like they've said a bunch of times. Well, let me look at it in real time, do a quick view, and okay, well that's it. You know, I don't know. Something is missing in their review system that they keep screwing up these calls.
Yeah.
So
Well, the hope is that they fine tune some of that for the next season so we can get a better product because as we've talked about before, you've got guys that are trying to train to get into the NFL. If you don't start squashing some of those bad habits now, such as offensive lineman holding or defensive pass interference all the time, uh, all you're doing is you're training a bad player for the NFL, and you're not setting them up for success. So we've got to do a better job with the officiating so we can produce better quality players for the NFL. Plain and simple. Now, um, I was hoping for a Texas trifecta, and unfortunately, that did not work out. But credit
so
to Houston.
absolutely correct, Jacqueline. Yeah, I mean they're they're trying to get it done quick and get on. So It seems like they're making the wrong rulings doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, there very much is a focus on, the fast pace of the game, try and get it, going as quickly as possible. And I don't know that that's what the fans want to see. I mean, the fans want to see the right calls being made, even if it costs a couple of extra minutes. So,
Yeah.
you know, Blandino, do better. But I haven't done a do better moment in a while.
Herrera, do better. Both of y'all do better.
Yeah.
Because y'all both been sucking all year.
Yep. Now, again, Texas trifecta did not work out, but can't really hate the Roughnecks. The Roughnecks tried everything they could to stay in this game, and it was a dogfight.
You know what? They had the lead early on in the game, man. I thought they were going to take it for a while there.
The Roughnecks did?
Yeah.
No, the Roughnecks had the lead in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's what
You said early on in the game.
Well, third quarter is earlier than the fourth quarter, so
True, but earlier in the game usually implies first or second quarter. I'm just saying, Brian, like, get your
whatever.
numbers together.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
One cookie comes before two cookies, which comes before three cookies.
No, double stack in my mouth.
Okay. One double stack comes before two double stacks, which
Look,
then comes
you know
before
what?
three double stacks. But no, again, shout out to our Houston friends. I feel so bad. I definitely wanted to go to that game to show our support because they came over here. Unfortunately, I was on the road. I had to make it up here to St. Louis, so there's no way I could make it. But I absolutely love the fact that things that have started in Texas are spreading like wildfire. Like the whole "you can't do that" chant, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure we stole from Arlington last year when we went to their game. Okay. And they were trying to say that to us, and we still won that game. So then we gave it back to them all year long. And then we gave it to
I don't
Houston
know.
too.
Obviously you've kind of heard it for years, but I don't know where it started for like as far as us. It's just so fun to do. So Arlington started it, we started it, Houston. It's just
Yeah, who knows?
who knows, but it's fun, and I'm glad that you know they're all doing because Houston did it on Sunday. So
Yeah,
it's cool that that's kind of our thing. It seems
yeah.
like so.
Well, and if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back and watch the game, but I know we were saying it in DC, and I think DC started picking up on it too. you know? So I would love to see this kind of take off like wildfire because I'm sure they do it in the NFL too, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and it is so grating on a player when you made a mistake and you've got 10,000 people yelling, you can't do that. Oh, God, it is so devastating to somebody's morale, you know? Love it. And Jacqueline, you're right. We do it louder. I hate that. I don't like the way that sounds, but yeah. Um, but yeah. So again, Houston was not able to beat Michigan, so we did not get our Texas trifecta. Which again, that game didn't. It matters. It matters to the Houston fans. I'd have loved to have seen them get that win. It doesn't change the playoff standings or anything, but it would have been a great moral victory for Houston to beat the number 2 team in the USFL. So, but they sure gave them a run for their money, and they didn't walk away without a couple of bruises and everything. So, Brian, where do we stand on our picks for this weekend? This last week?
So we were both 3-1. You picked St. Louis. I'm sorry. I picked St. Louis. You picked Arlington. So you got that
Mhm.
one right. I got it wrong. You picked Houston. I picked Michigan. Um, so, and then we both picked the Brahmas in DC. So
Yeah,
3-1. I'll have to figure out the rest of the math later. But
I'm not worried about the rest of the math right now. What I am worried about though is what is going on with the San Antonio Gunslingers. They they started making a heck of a run. Now, granted, they played Bay Area Panthers, and again, shout out to our friends at the Pro Arena Talk uh, Facebook fan page. For updating us on information and everything. Uh, San Antonio started out, kind of slugging it out with Bay Area. Now, Bay Area was 7-1 going into this game. San Antonio was 4-4.
yeah,
They definitely probably until about the second quarter, they were pretty much hanging almost point for point. But then it started kind of getting away from them a little bit. They managed to reel it back in the early part of the fourth quarter, but then they just could not convert. And I think the problem is we've talked about it before. San Antonio has a pretty high powered offense when they're actually firing on all cylinders, but the defense, man, that defense is just shaky,
Yeah.
and it's been shaky all season long. Um, so I've got to believe Coach Menace has some kind of plan for it. I just don't know when he's going to implement it, right? Um, because you can't keep losing these games. I mean, I understand the competition is stiffer in the IFL versus the NAL, but he's got better players on his team. So
I tell you what, our defense this game, it actually had a couple interceptions, couple stops, which is really all that we expect. The problem this game was our offense. We turned it over on downs 4 times, and we
oh
had one interception. So that's 5 stops by the Bay Area defense, um, and that's not going to get. I mean, what 31 points is what they put up. That's not going to win. If that wins you an arena game, then your other team is sucking real bad. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, this one I put on the offense because the defense did what it was supposed to do. They held Bay Area to 42 points. So yeah, just our offense seems like probably one of the first times this season couldn't get it done.
yeah.
So
Um, but so going into next week or this next weekend, San Antonio should be playing. What was that, week 12?
yeah, week
No,
12.
we're going into week 12
We
this
are we
week.
are playing a bye week. So
Okay, so
hopefully
hopefully
we
they
can win
win
that
that
one.
one. Yeah, quit stealing my lines, Brian. Um, yeah, it was interesting. Now, Frisco Fighters at San Diego Strike Force. I watched this game on the drive up here, right? Because I had nothing to do but drive. Um, First and foremost, San Diego, man, you got a lot of green. You got a lot of green on your field. Okay. Everything looked green, including the ball. The ball is white and it looked green because everything was green. And their field was different colors of green too. So I know it's not because they patched it together. They specifically designed it that way. So you can kind of tell when you've gone 10 yards. And it's the weirdest thing. But this was a game, man. This was a nail biter. Frisco started out very, very strong. Uh, put up 7 points fairly quickly. And then it was just back and forth, back and forth. At towards the end of the first quarter, they put up another 7 points. And then the top of the second quarter, um, Frisco had to kick a field goal because San Diego held them to basically a 3 and out, which field goals don't normally happen in the Arena League. I mean, it does happen. It's a heck of a lot harder, much faster paced game and everything, but you don't see a whole lot of field goals. It's either you go for it on fourth and make it or you don't,
Yeah.
right? Um, but after that crucial stop, then Bay Area really started kind of coming back and putting a lot of pressure on Frisco, and they kind of went back and forth. Now, I do have to make a comment on something with Frisco and really with San Diego. The kickoff game is the absolute worst I've seen. And I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be critical, but they had one point where the kicker kicked the ball and it went out at their own 15-yard line. It 100% was a hard right shank. Now, how can you do that? You're a kicker. You've got one job, right? Put it
And you're
down the other end.
and you're kicking on a 50-yard field too.
Yeah.
So
So it was absolutely brutal, man. It was a very, very when it came time to watch the kickoff part, it was absolutely brutal. Um, but everything about the game was really good. Frisco looked sharp. They looked like they had their hands full with San Diego, and I mean it was a little bit. I mean, at one point, especially towards the end of the fourth quarter, it was like, oh man, can San Diego score, those 3 extra points and get this thing into overtime? And they just didn't have the juice to get it done. Now, I could have sworn that, and again, because I'm on the road driving, I could have sworn that San Diego won, but thankfully I was wrong, and Frisco did pull off the win.
It looks like I didn't get to watch the game, but I'm just kind of looking at the drive chart. It looks like they attempted San Diego attempted a field goal with 4 seconds left to tie the game. So uh,
Well, yeah, there was all kinds of craziness that happened with that. Um, and Arena Ball also has a really weird rule where you can go for a 4 point conversion. Okay. And it's basically from like the 20. Um, but I didn't see a lot of people doing that, you know? Um, arenas, I mean, especially IFL, it's a little bit weird. Most of the other arena leagues, you can only have one man in motion at a time. And in this league, you can actually have two men in motion when the ball is snapped. But that actually wound up hurting Frisco a couple of times because they got called for illegal offensive shift at least 3 times that I can think of. So basically, their guy was offsides or wasn't where he was supposed to be when the ball was snapped. So, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But again, it was an incredible game to watch. Frisco did pull off the victory, and so now they're moving on. So this next week, as BD said, San Antonio has a bye. Frisco is going to be playing Massachusetts Pirates in Frisco. Now let's look at the standings.
Massachusetts is 6-3, so they're a pretty solid team. Um, they're 1 game back behind Frisco, so this should be a pretty good game.
Yeah. So if you have some time this weekend and you're not busy watching, San Antonio beating uh, St. Louis Battle Chickens, maybe flip on the old TV and catch this game at 7:05 Central. But I think our game should be over by then, so
Yeah,
you'll have
our
time.
game's at 3, isn't it?
I thought it was at 2 Central. I think it's no, it's 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
Yeah,
So
3 Central.
yeah. So again, some really great indoor football. Let's talk about some other indoor football. I watched this game, I believe it was Friday night, but West Texas Desert Hawks against Albany Firebirds. This thing was a slugfest. West Texas wound up losing to Albany 46-47, and it all came in the last like 2 minutes, if I remember correctly. So trying to look at the box score. Yeah, West Texas was out early. 15 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter. Albany had a combined total of 14 points in the first half. So they were down 15. But then West Texas could not score in the third quarter, and Albany went on a little bit of a run and scored 26 points. So basically 9 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, and that wound up giving them the win, 47-46. But it was a good game, man. I was very surprised at this game. I was surprised with the visual presentation, the level of play. It really surprised me, because again, we've been watching the Arena Football League just fall apart with all the players and conflicts with all that. The kids have been dropping out, the unsafe conditions for the players and all that. It's been an interesting little drama there, if you will.
Yeah, and you know what? It's still the drama's still not over with it. So you know,
Oh
um,
no.
but yeah, kind
So
of at. I think I think we talked last week that what the Oregon the Black Bears had dropped out of the league, and then when Jeff Fisher was announced, they worked out a deal to come back to the league, and apparently they're back out again. So who knows?
yep,
Who knows what's going on?
yep,
But
and that's fine. So this next week, right? We've already talked about San Antonio as a bye. Briscoe's going to be playing. We're obviously going to be busy with St. Louis. Um, what do you think the keys are going to be for a San Antonio victory in the Dusty Dome?
Well, obviously, our defense, we have to slow down. You know, I don't have any doubt that AJ McCarron's going to play. Um, he would have played last week if it was a meaningful game. Um, I you know I fully expect him to play. So our defense has to be, you know, be on point. They got to be able to get to him, make him uncomfortable. Obviously, he's not the runner that Adrian is for Birmingham, but still he could pop off a quick little 10-yard run if needed. So we got to be able to keep him contained. Not let him throw deep balls downfield, and our offense has to be consistent. Once again, we talked about it again. We had another 0 point third quarter. Um, we left the equivalent of a touchdown on the board from our missed extra points, missed field goal. Uh, we got to convert those. Got to have a balanced attack. Can't rely too much on the run or the pass. You got to keep them guessing. Kind of all. I mean, it's basically football 101, but it's stuff that's important.
Oh yeah,
So, and
yeah, and
we didn't really touch on it when we talked about the game this week, but I mean, there's something's up with Santoso, man. I don't know if he's got the yips or what, but ever since his game winning field goal, he's missed 3 straight in the last 2 games. So he's 0-3 since that, and that doesn't fill me with a bunch of confidence.
yeah. So
So
real quick, shout out to our friend Mr. Cardenas. It was great seeing you in Houston. Also, he's the one who hooked us up with some really cool stuff. Got my helmet from him. If you guys are looking for, getting some helmet work done, stuff like that, he's the guy you need to reach out to. Now, back to Santoso. Um, I'm very concerned about that because we cannot go into this game and expect that we're going to be able to drive the ball down the field and get it in the end zone every single time.
we
We,
have to have a kicker we can rely on, which
mhm.
kind of do you feel like we should bring somebody else in? Um, is for his last 3 enough to say, hey, you might not be you're not getting it done. Bring in a potential replacement for you.
I think there's enough concern there that yeah, we should be weighing the options and looking to see what potential replacements we can find. I don't need somebody that can drive it 60, 70 yards into the end zone. I need somebody that can do it consistently from the 40 or less. And I just don't think that Santoso has that right now. I mean, he missed what, like a 35 yarder?
He
He threw
missed.
the
So the one he missed against Birmingham was a 53, um, and he hit it off the upright, and that sucker was halfway up. That would have been good from 63 yards, but it was a miss. His other one, the ones he missed last week, they were. I think it was one of them was less than 40, and one was like 43, 42, 43, 44, something like that. But
Mhm.
they were well within his range. The 53 yarder would have been his longest for the season. It was at halftime. Okay, I if I'm looking at that one, on its own, that one gets a pass. But looking at the pattern of that was now his 3rd straight miss, I don't know about that.
No, you're right. I still stick with my original assessment that you missed your last 3, um, most of which were attainable. And so now it's time to start thinking, okay, well, what are we going to do? Because, we've got the playoffs coming up in a week. And, we cannot be leaving points on the board like that. I mean, if we want to be the champions, we've got to take advantage of every scoring opportunity that we get. And that means our kicking game needs to be on point. That means our receivers cannot be dropping balls. That means a lot of stuff.
And
And
that's another problem too. Drop passes. As good as Kirkland's been for us this season. I mean, obviously he had the great throw on the trick play this week. Um, he dropped a crucial pass, and it was in his arms, and he like assumed he had the catch, so he went to go look to see check his feet and drop the ball. So
yep,
that was one of those he's got to catch that, and um, oh I can't think of the guy, but we've had a bunch of other players. I think last week, uh, number 10, I forget his name, but he had 3 drops, 4 drops, something like that.
yeah,
This just goes back to our offense has to be clicking, and you know, you can't have easy drop passes. It's inexcusable at this point.
you're right. I think it's also worth mentioning, though, that Corey Latimer is going to be out for the game.
Yeah.
Potentially has played his last game as a San Antonio Brahma.
He's played his
Uh,
last game of his career. It was announced. He announced when the season first started that this was going to be his last year. He was going to retire. Um,
yep,
and I hate it for the guy. He's been such a big integral part of our team. I I'm shocked that he's only had 1 touchdown all year. I could have swore he's had like 4 or 5. Um, but more so he was the guy for Dormady. A couple of games obviously in Memphis, he was the guy for Garbers. Just I need 10, 15 yards. He knew exactly where to get the big plays, the big yardage for first downs or whatever. Um, so it's gonna be a big hole to fill. But we've got Mac, who I mean, dude's not a slouch. He was fantastic for us last year.
yep,
He hasn't had the opportunities this year with Latimer being on the team, but we all saw what he could do last year. So you know
yep,
the the drop off from Latimer to now Mac is not that great. So uh,
yeah. Yeah, I think we'll be fine with Mac at the tight end position. I'm sure they're probably going to bring somebody in to back up Mac. Hopefully, we get a solid cat that can be a blocking tight end and be available for the short little dump off routes. Uh, I trust the coach. I trust the staff. I'm sure that they're going to take care of that. So I think we'll be in good shape. It does suck though losing Latimer, man. I mean, that cat has worked so hard and put in so much blood, sweat, and tears into this for this to kind of be his last season for him to go out on an injury because
yeah.
I know he was looking forward to the playoffs. So uh,
Yeah, I was hoping that I don't. No player wants to go out on an injury like that. So I was hoping he might reconsider and say, no, you know what, I want to play a full year and come back. But it looks like that's not going to happen. And you know what, I need to retract a previous statement that I made because I just looked at the stats. Santoso. So I said he has missed every field goal since his game winner. That is not true. He made his first 2 against Arlington from 21 and 26. He missed his last 2 from 48 and 38. So he has missed 3 straight, but he did make 2 previously in that game. So, you know,
but it's still concerning.
it's
The ones
still concerning. Still 3 straight missed field goals, 2 of them well within his range. So,
yes. So flipping over, we know San Antonio is going to win. Not worried about that. We've got pieces in place that will take care of anybody that we're losing, and we're on a tear with Garbers and Dormady. That's a two-headed monster. St. Louis is going to have a hell of a time stopping them. I don't think it's going to be an easy game at all. I think we're going to have a tougher game against them than the game we played at the beginning of the season. But I do see a San Antonio win.
I don't know if it's going to be tougher. I think our defense is going to I can see it being a lot lower scoring game than the last
Mhm.
time. Um, our defense is just clicking right now, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can really move the ball against us. So
No,
um, I can see I can see a 20 to 15 game, something like that. A pretty low scoring affair.
yeah.
But I
Would wouldn't it be wonderful if we 4th and 12 them to win the game, what they did to
not
us?
really, because I don't want it to be that close. I don't want to. That's just too nerve wracking. Now, it would be great and be poetic. It'd be great for us to walk out of that arena after that. But I don't know if my heart can take that, man. That's just it's gonna get erasing too much.
Yeah. Ah, I think we'll be fine either way. But I think it's gonna be an incredible game. And I would love to see the 4th and 12 against them the way they 4th and 15 to us.
You know what? Hey, it doesn't have to be within the last minute and a half of the game or whatever. You know what? If they're up on us and we score a touchdown and they're still up by one, then you know what? We can 4th and 12 them at like the 10-minute mark, and then get the ball back and score a touchdown. I'd be cool with that. I just don't want another like minute and a half one because that
Right.
Memphis game was way too stressful.
Yeah,
And
that Memphis game was tough.
Houston too. We didn't 4th and 12 Houston, but it was still one of those that it was close enough to be. So
Yep.
I don't
That
need those
was
close games, man.
that was just a lucky fumble that broke our way. So, we'll take it. Michigan Panthers, Birmingham Stallions. Pretty sure Memphis is gonna be resting their starters, because they already know that they're gonna be playing Michigan. Um, I still see Michigan, uh, taking the L on this one. Could be wrong. If Michigan rests their starters and Birmingham rests their starters, then it's definitely Birmingham's game. Uh, but I mean, Michigan does still have something to play for. Um,
Michigan's a good team. Michigan could still get the number one seed. Now we all know even if Michigan has the number one seed, the game's still going to be in Birmingham. But because of like a Ford Field, something going on over there, which is kind of ridiculous to me. I think if Michigan was to get the number one seed, they should play at a neutral field. Hell, played at Arlington. They're not using that stadium over there. So you know,
no, but that one definitely going to want to keep an eye on this weekend, right? Because that has playoff implications all
I,
over it.
I do think both teams are going to be. I can see maybe the starters playing the first half, just kind of getting in some game reps. Uh, I don't think anybody's going to throw out any trick plays or nothing. It's going to be pretty basic. I think a lot of the stuff is going to be, you know, don't not to show your hand because obviously, just like with our game, like you said, Michigan and Birmingham are playing next week in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to tip their hand, so I can see this being a really boring game. Actually,
yeah. Um, Arlington versus DC. Uh, Neither team is playing for anything at this point, except for pride. I do think Arlington is going to try and go in and pull off an upset victory. I don't think they're going to get it done against DC. I mean, Tamu, even though he's been struggling a little bit this year, I still think that they've got enough juice left in the tank that unfortunately they are going to probably beat Arlington, and it's a home game for DC.
yeah,
So
it'll be
they're,
their
they're
their last home game. Uh, the beer snake will be flowing. Um, the crowd will be good. I see a DC win as well.
yeah. Now this next game, Houston versus Memphis. We know Memphis's struggles. We also know Houston's struggles. The last couple of weeks, Houston has been kind of putting on a little bit better of a show, even if they're not necessarily getting a win, right? And it's not like Houston. Well, the last couple of weeks, Houston hasn't been bad. They just haven't been good enough. This one's going to be a tough one to call. Uh, we know that Memphis has some talented cats on their roster. They're just kind of in the same boat, right? They keep losing games by 3-4 points, stuff like that. Uh, I'm I'm gonna have to pick Houston on this one. I'm picking
So
Houston for the upset.
this game's pretty interesting. Obviously these are these are the two worst teams in the league. They're both 1-8. Um,
Well, we'll say the two not best teams in the league.
the two teams with the lowest record, the least amount of wins,
Yes.
um, the most defeated teams, if you
Yes.
will. Both of them are 1-8, and so it's actually pretty interesting what they're doing. And they just announced it today. Moose Johnson came out with a little video. They did this, I think, originally with the USFL, um, because both these teams have the same record. Usually in NFL and stuff, team with the worst record gets the number one pick in the draft. Well, for this one, what they're going to do is the team that wins this game is going to get the number one pick. So they're not going to give the team with the worst record. They're going to give the team that wins the game between the two teams with the worst records. So as Moose said, you want the number one pick, you're going to have to earn it in this game instead of just dropping it to get a spot, which
Yep.
is actually interesting because they don't. It's not just going to be uh, the first pick overall, and then whatever. It's the first pick in every round. So they don't snake the draft. They don't go by a different order each time. It's the same draft order every single round. So um, that's actually it's something. Hey, and it's something for those two teams to play for.
Yeah.
That's you want to greatly improve your team from one season to the next. Well, you get the first pick in every draft round. That can do it for you.
Yeah. And there should be a lot of talented individuals coming out in this next draft.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm also
I didn't make my pick for this. I'm gonna pick Houston for this game, and I don't think I made my. I did. I did not make my pick for Michigan Birmingham.
right.
Um, I'm gonna say Birmingham is gonna win.
Okay.
So I got Birmingham, San Antonio, DC, and Houston. I think we have the same picks. So
Yep. Straight across the board. Sorry. Meds are starting to kick in. Um, but yeah, it should be it
was it
should
was it
be
the Meds or
interesting.
was it the whiskey you chased them with?
Uh maybe both, who knows. Um, but I'm starting to feel real good, that's for sure. Um, it's gonna be an interesting football weekend. There's a lot going on. Obviously our game is super, super important to us. We want to win, we want to get that home field advantage. I'm looking forward to seeing all of my St. Louis friends and hanging out with you guys and hoisting a pint or seven and just having a good old time. Although I can't really hoist too many because we are driving back to San Antonio on Sunday, so I've got to be respectful of my family. Um,
But before that, Friday night, you'll be good to go.
Friday's a different story, so I
I
plan
also
on hopefully.
I would like to mention too. You kind of if you see on our Facebooks, I think we all shared it on ours. Jackie posted it originally. Not gonna happen, John. Um,
Nothing to happen.
there is the Bulls on tour, which the traveling fan base. We have one extra ticket to the game. Um, so if you would like to go to the game, get in touch with Jackie. Uh, Now, how you get up to it, where you stay, that's all on you. You figure that out. But if you want to get a ticket to the game, we have one extra to sit in our section. So
Yep, and we can definitely help out where needed, whatever, as far as arrangements and stuff for places to stay and whatever. But travel arrangements, I mean, everybody's already got their stuff booked. I've already driven up here. So travel arrangements are going to be on you. It's
yeah, I
only a
don't think
14-hour.
I couldn't fit anybody in my carry on luggage. So
Right. Well, but it's only a 14-hour drive, right? Probably not the most enjoyable. But I did it in 14 with my uh my whole family. So you could do it in 14 easily. It's not going to be a problem. So, but make sure you're checking it out. Reach out to Jackie. She'll get you hooked up. Make sure you're watching football this weekend because there's going to be a lot going on. And I'm hoping I can catch, maybe a game or two arena wise. Um, And I think that's pretty much all we got today, right, Brian?
Yeah, I believe so.
So yeah, we're actually finishing on time, which is a miracle that usually never happens. I'm gonna blame it on me feeling horrible, but I promise you guys, I'm gonna get rested up tonight, be ready to go by tomorrow. John, we're definitely hoisting those pints. Maybe if we can on Friday, Thursday is definitely an option.
You got
Um,
to do it. You got to do it when me and Jorge coming to town. So we'll be there on Friday. So
yep. And there's some St. Louis traditions I'm gonna have to show you guys about. Just so you can see why St. Louis is the way it is. So, guys, appreciate each and every one of you tuning in and checking us out. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to our channels and doing all that good stuff and following our socials and blah, blah, blah. I think that's it. We'll catch you guys this weekend.
see you guys. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.